All right, Excel Meta Major Product, the very last item in the Excel section. All right, so we got some instructions here. We're going to follow these pretty closely here. Now keep in mind, this is something that I grade manually, so only thing that means is there's a little wiggle room for error. It's not going to be as strict as Cengage, but we're about to do it together. So as long as you do it basically how I'm laying it out here, we should be fine. But let's just kind of go over the instructions one at a time here. We're gonna set ourselves a name for the item in cell A1 to be your last name and monthly budget. All right, then we're going to list two sources of income, and then we're going to calculate those, and then we're going to list some expenses, and then we're going to calculate those. We're going to create a leftover amount based on a calculation, and then we're going to, there's a caution for you, the second bullet from the end, do not just type the totals. You need to use the Excel to calculate them for you. We'll show you how to do that here. And then you're going to use conditional formatting at the end of this to indicate whether your leftover amount is good or bad, whether you have money left over or whether you don't. And we're going to make it, let's see, we're just going to turn it red, okay? In the past, we made it red, bold, italics, but red is good enough for me. Welcome. All right, so we're going to work on this together, and then maybe you can add it to this at the end, and that'll be one thing that you're done with. So I'm going to go and I'm going to open Excel on my computer. I'm just going to search for it, find it, and click it and open it up. I would suggest you do something similar. Ever how you open Excel, open Excel.
Is it the blank workbook we're going to click on?
Yes, we're going to open up a blank workbook. We're going to start from scratch. And I'm going to give a tip here to our people at home that may watch this video later. There is a video on Blackboard where I've done this in the past. So if the video I'm doing today doesn't seem to do it right for you, there's a video here you can watch as well. If you're watching this video and you don't like it, stop it and watch the other video. Anyway, as I say, that video is 52 minutes. Yikes. I think we can do it faster in 52 minutes. What do you think? All right, let's do it. All right. So the first step, somebody keep their steps handy so you can kind of keep me in line. But basically, it said something like create a, I don't know, what did it say? A1, yeah. Your name plus the budget. I don't know if it said monthly. What did it say? Anybody can look.
It says monthly budget.
It does. Okay. Well, that's what I made it. All right. All right, now we're going to be adjusting this later to make it work better for us. But for right now, we're going to list income, right? And then we're going to go over maybe list expenses. We're going to add up we're going to come up with a couple of different sources of income. You know, you could list it a couple of different ways. You could list it wages, right? Salary, whatever. If you wanted to identify various jobs, you could list multiple sources. You know, like wages from Augusta's, wages from Johnny's, wages from your uncle's business, your sister's business, whatever, you know, works. You just want to list all your sources of income. What could be other sources of income that people might have? You might even have. Investments would be one, maybe. Say again?
Pickpocketing?
Yeah, you could just list that as wages. Wages, you could list that as, but yeah, that's a good one. Well, pickpocketing, how about alimony? You're like, hey, that's a tough shot right there. I paid alimony once. I felt like I was being robbed. All right, but I get it. All right, so any of those. And just put a value in there that kind of makes sense. This doesn't have to be accurate to your day now, but it can be, right? It's not it can be accurate that way, but what we're doing here is showing you how to use a spreadsheet to manage, income and expenses, right? So, you can dress this up a little bit if you wanted to. You could make the income, you could put a little colon at the end. You could take the three expenses, the three incomes, and highlight them all, select them all, and choose this little alignment deal and move them over a little bit. Kind of makes it kind of gives you some aesthetics. Well, let's just put some numbers in here to work with. Let's just say this is monthly, right? So we're not looking at the whole year. We're not looking at a week. We're looking at a month. It's difficult to budget for a week, even though it's possible. So let's just say we're living large here. Say $10,000 a month in wages, investments. Let's say $5,000. In alimony, we were married to a poor person, $500 a month, right? We should probably be paying them, but we had a really good lawyer, right? So there we go.
How much for investments?
I got 5,000 in there, but you guys do whatever you want. Do something. You can do this to make sense for you or not. It doesn't matter, but this is just to do the works here. We're going to add these up, and we're also going to make this look like actual dollars, right? So I want to format these cells for dollars versus just numbers. Right now, it's the default. I'll show you something here. If you look at we're going to right click and format cells on one here. I'm just going to show you something, and then we'll go back and make some changes. The default cell value is general. You guys see that right there? So it takes whatever you put in there and just kind of displays it. There's lots of options right there for numbers, and we're going to change it to one that we want, but I'm going to do that I'm just going to select this area. Matter of fact, I'm going to select all of this right here, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to change all that. Format cells, I'm going to change all that to, let's say, accounting. I like the accounting one because I like the way it displays the dollar sign. 2 decimal places make sense since we're talking about money, and we're just going to say okay. So now the numbers that we already entered, they adjust to that format. All right, so it's tempting right now to add these up, but our expenses list is going to be longer, so I'm going to wait and sum those up after we list some expenses. So I'm going to do my expenses kind of the same way. I'm going to put a colon right there. And then I'm going to, as I start listing expenses. All right, so what's a rent? Big one. Everybody has rent, whether it's a mortgage or a monthly rental on a place. Everybody should have that, right? If you don't have it yet, you will. All right, say power is probably one. Water. These are all utility kind of things. What's another type of expense that you probably, all of us have? Internet, yeah, that's a good one.
Yes.
Gas, like home, yeah, gas for home, yeah. Later on, when we start doing stuff for our car, we'll call it fuel, just to keep it different. All right, so medical bills is good. Because everybody has that, even if they just have copays, that you're having a budget, because what we're doing is creating our budget. This is the amount of money that we plan to spend, right?
I do this on a weekly basis.
You can do it on a weekly basis. It can drive you mad if you do it on a weekly basis, but
It works in my head.
yeah. What's another good one here? That's an obvious one that we're not putting down yet, and you guys will think of it if you just pause for a second. Everybody has this expense. Phone, yeah. I'm going to call it cell phone just to make it clear, because you could also have another phone, right? Also, I want all these to be kind of indented because I like the way that looks. Now, I've got my cell phone overlapped here, so I can go to the top of this and double click, and it'll
Which one did you hit on engine?
Yeah, I'll show you. So when I got them selected, up here under alignment, there's these two options here I want to increase indent. But you can keep clicking it, it'll just keep indenting, but one indent is enough for me. You guys do what works for you. And then I went in, and because my cell phone was overlapping my cell border, I moved my pointer to the top of the row here and set my pointer between C and D on the line until it turned into this double-headed arrow. And then I double-clicked so that it made it wide enough for cell phone. We can do it, have something else gets longer here too. So other expenses. So car, if you have a payment for the car insurance, state law. So you should have that. And then fuel. It's another good thing to have in your budget related to your car. Car maintenance. Budget for it so it don't surprise you when the time comes. All right, so I've got something else that overlapped my border here, so I'm going to go up here and again and wait for my double-headed arrow and double-click. All right, so you guys get creative here. Give me something that I'm left out. Right now, this is subsisting right here. Groceries, where that wasn't even subsisting. We got to eat. Matter of fact, let's just go to call it what it is. Food. Well, groceries is better. You're right. Because there might be non-food items that you need to buy. You know, toothpaste, deodorant, TP, if you can find it. All right. So far I'm just living life. I'm existing right here. You guys are all students, so what's another expense? School. That could be as big as tuition and as small as pencils, right? But that is the thing.
I budget for my pet care.
Oh yeah, pets, big. That is a big thing. Pet food, pet care. Now your pet food might be part of your groceries, but maybe you just want to track it separate, you know? And pet care could be medicine, and it could be grooming, all that stuff.
Mine gets approved every like 2 to 3 weeks.
You know, doggy daycare, any of those things you could throw under there. All right, so that's somewhat like fun. What are some other, let's put in entertainment. I know that sounds crazy, but going to the movies, renting videos at Blockbuster. Oh, wait, hold on. But, you know, streaming services, all that stuff you could put under entertainment. Vacation. What is that? Well, you know, if you're budgeting for it each month, it's not going to, you're going to have the money when the time comes, right? And then, how about this one? Savings. Yikes. That's probably retirement may also be one that you could put there. What have I left out? Entertainment could even be eating out, unless you want that as a separate category. I put a lot of them here. It doesn't have to be this many. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. You all seem like y'all are wise people of the world. Y'all know what it takes. I may have left something out, but maybe not. Let's put some values to some of this. All right, you live in Coleman and you live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that you're renting. How much? $1,100. Power for that 3-bedroom, 2-bath house per month. $200.
My power bill this month was $850.
Oh my God.
Yikes!
I about died when I.
What? Why?
That's, yeah.
I would.
We were so pissed.
Have you protest that?
Yeah,
Protest?
we went to the Alabama Power and we asked them to like print us out our monthly
Uh-huh.
for this month and last month.
Sounds like a
and
mistake.
It didn't even change.
Sounds like, so they're, what's up? They're gonna fix it. So, what's
They
the,
contract people out to come check your stuff, and that happened to me one time, and I called them to come out and check it themselves, and they had messed up on my reading.
yeah, I mean, that's obvious. If your normal is $200 or $300 a month and jumps to $850, something's wrong. All right, so, power, I'm just gonna put 200. Anybody want spend more than that? Is that too low? Water, how much does water cost where you are per month? It's kind of expensive in my area.
$50, $60.
All right, we'll make it 70 just to be inclusive. Internet, that's pretty high, usually about $100 a month. Natural gas, what time of year is it? Well, it's winter right now, so it's probably a little high. 75?
It has been a hot winter though.
True that. We'll make it 60. All right, medical expenses. I mean, that's going to vary for everyone, but let's just say we're based on your personal thing, just budget an amount so that you've got enough money to cover it monthly. Probably $100 is probably enough for co-pays and prescriptions if you have insurance. If you don't have insurance, I don't know that you can budget for that. What's that?
Because normally our copay is at 75 no matter where we go.
It depends on the insurance you have. Yeah, but yeah, could be. Cell phone, for one phone, that's at least $100 a month unless you're using what? Cricket? Anybody got a Cricket phone? How much is that a month for one?
Well, for one, it's like probably $50. I pay for 4,
Okay,
it's about 125.
that's good. I like that idea. Cricket, I'm a Verizon user and I think they're robbing me.
The only reason it's that much too is because I pay for their insurance.
Do you have adequate and reliable coverage? For the
I'm
most-
really mad at it.
Okay. Maybe I should change. Now that I'm a meager public servant, I should probably be paying less for these things. They did give me a teacher discount though. That was nice. Verizon.
Yeah.
I had to submit lots of documentation though to get that. All right. So, car. All right. It depends on the car, right? But I'm just going to throw in let's just say you have a car payment. You bought a car. You're driving a car. It was used. $500 a month. Car insurance. All right. For somebody old like me, and I thought it was just me, it wouldn't be very expensive. Somebody young like Drake, they're going to gig him hard, right? So let's just put in for one car, $100 a month. Drake, you may want to make yours about $500. And William, because y'all are under 21 and you're males, insurance companies do not like you. Because, I mean, there's a good reason, because y'all are unpredictable. Y'all do crazy stuff, right? Both of you? You're not going to admit to it. Okay. All right. Fuel per month. It depends on where you're going, how far you're going. If you got a 30-minute commute to wherever you're going and you get like 20 miles per gallon, let's say a 30-minute round trip commute, that would be ideal. Most people have a little bit more than that. You're probably spending about $300 a month on fuel. And that's if you're truly using your vehicle for utilitarian purposes. Point A to point B and back. Joy rides, that's going to cost you more.
That's why I spend.
Car maintenance. All right, you got to get an oil change every 3 months. Occasionally, you're going to need wipers and spark plugs and blah, 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 blah. If you put $150 a month away for that, you're going to be covered for brakes and all that stuff. Tires, you might still have a problem with, but that might have to come out of savings. All right, groceries. How well do you want to eat? $400 minimum for one person per month. A household with a family, man, it goes nuts.
We eat out. I'm never home.
Y'all are so busy. Yeah, it gets even more expensive when you do that. Yeah, we do a fair amount ourselves because we're an empty nest home almost. My son still kind of lives there, but he's really busy. So
Son's at my house half the week and at his dad's half the week.
okay.
I don't buy groceries. I just buy snacks.
Well, my son, he's 22 and he's a police officer, so he works weird shifts. So he does still can have our house as his address, but he floats through in a kind of a fog. But he does have like 2 or 3 off days in a row. I think he's about to get but he disappears during that time. I don't know if he's spending, I don't know where he is, but it's none of my business, right? So, school, all right. If you're paying for your tuition out of pocket, which is most people don't, they usually have some, let's just say you got student loans for that or whatever, and you're having to pay it back while you're attending school. That's going to cost you something. I don't know. Let's just throw $300 in there. It's a lot. Pet food. That's depending on the pet. I have 4 dogs. My pet food budget is crazy. But if you got one mid-sized dog and you're feeding them the top of the line food because they have a special diet, special needs, you're spending $100 a month on dog food. Pet care. Sky's the limit. Dog groomers charge $50 to $100 depending on who they are. Vet bills. I'm going to go $150 a month for that. Entertainment. All right, that's concert tickets. That's what else? Entrances to parks and streaming services. We talked about all those things. Entertainment is kind of a catch-all for all those things that you do for fun. Do you want to have a lot of fun? You're going to have to budget a lot for that. I'm going to put $200 in there because I want to go to some concerts, some sports events. I want to do a lot of stuff. All right, vacation. Where are you going to vacation? The Bahamas, Gatlinburg, Gadsden. Where are you going? Right? So per month, let's have a good vacation. Savings. All right, savings I'm going to calculate. All right, so right now I've got my income. I'm going to add it up. I'm going to take this field down here below all this stuff, and I'm going to go to my auto sum feature. I'm going to click auto sum, and I'm going to press enter, and it's calculate my income for me, which is kind of extreme, right? It's not, our expenses are barely going to touch this income. All right, but our savings should really be, rule of thumb, 10% of your income, if you can afford it. So I'm going to make this a calculation. I'm going to say equals, I'm going to choose my income, then I'm going to multiply that by 0.1, which is 10%. My income goes down, so does my savings. Income goes up, so does my savings. I'm going to add up my expenses the same way. I'm choosing the field I want my total to display in, or the cell. I'm going to choose auto sum, and I'm going to press enter. All right, so we should be saving a lot more money, or we should be putting more in for vacation. What I probably need to do is make this wages a little more realistic. All right, let's make it what kind of investments could be paying you monthly? Do you guys have any ideas? I mean, there's lots of different ways you can do that. It could be dividends on stock. It could be you bought into the local Subway with a guy who owns it, and you're a silent partner, and he's just paying you a percentage each month. You could have bought into Summer's restaurant. Hey, I've got $10,000 I'd like to give you to get started, but before that, I want you to give me 2%.
How did you get your, you took your wages, your investments, and your own money, and you got some, how did you get that?
All right, I'll show you. So right here, I'm going to choose the cell I want that to display in. And, down toward the bottom so that you don't have to adjust so it's longer. And then I'm going to go up here to auto sum under the editing up here. And I'm going to click auto sum. That's going to total up everything above it. You see how it's got the line around it? The dotted line. Once you hit that, you just press enter and it'll total it for you. And you want to do the same thing for expenses. All right, while she's working through that, I'm going to go over here to you guys up here at the top. I've got my night monthly budget. It's just kind of stuffed in the corner up here. I'm going to choose the cells that are above all of this, probably all the way through E, right? And then I'm going to say merge and center. It's a button right up here on alignment. And it's going to merge those cells together so that my heading is over the top of all of the columns we're working with. I'm going to make this heading a little bigger too. I'm going to choose a larger font. And you can even, you can color the back of it. You can color the letters, whatever you want to do, just to make it stand out. Under font, you've got a fill color and a font color. Those colors aren't necessary, but if you want to, you can choose those. Actually, matter of fact, I probably should have included F as well in my merge and center, because what happened there? There we go. All right. So I inserted a column there so that it made my heading area longer, because what I want to do down here, I want to show the difference between these two items. So you guys tell me if are you up with me right now? You think you got everything up to this point? You got your, right now we should have a heading that's somewhat formatted, and we got two columns that are totaled up, one right next to the other, just for aesthetics. And we're going to choose the column, the cell that's one over from where the budget total is. The expense total is. We're going to make a calculation right there, but it's going to be the difference between our income and our expenses. We're going to calculate that we're going to subtract one from the other. So I'm going to type an equals mark. That's going to open up us doing a formula. And then I'm going to click over and I'm going to choose the cell that has the total for income in it. Then I'm going to type a minus symbol, which is basically the dash symbol on the keyboard. Over in the number area, there actually is a minus symbol over there. Either way it works. And then I'm going to click the other cell, the total for the expenses. Then I'm going to press enter. All right, so then it's going to show us the difference between those two.
If it's in parentheses, what's that mean?
That means it's a negative number, which is good. That's good. Leave it that way. That's fine. That means that you're spending more than you're bringing in. You need to know those things. Or you're spending more than you're planning to spend more than you're planning to make. Yeah. So that means you're going to have to adjust your budget somehow. You're going to have to cut out those concert tickets or whatever it was you were planning to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you probably should have a Red Bull budget. My wife tells me I should have a sparkling water budget. Yeah, she's like, when are you going to stop drinking that stuff? I was like, I'm not. She said, but it's so expensive. I was like, but I love it. So, but we're going to do something with that. So leave that the way it is. It's fine for now. We're going to take this total and we're going to make it so that it stands out if it happens to be negative, like Summers is. All right, so we're going to go, because while that cell is selected, just go up to conditional formatting up here. It's on the home tab underneath styles, it looks like. Conditional formatting. We're going to click that and we're going to say We're just gonna say new rule. All right, so we got this box right here. So we're going to say, we're gonna take, which one of these do we want? How about,
The values that are above and below average?
no, that might work. Let's do, format cells. Format only cells that contain. Let's choose that one. All right. And the cell value, and we're going to say less than, then we're just going to put the number 0 in there. And we're going to say okay. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not right. I'm going to manage that rule because I needed to make it do something. All right. So if it's, so for things that, for that rule less than 0, I need to change the format. So I'm going to click on formatting and I'm going to make it look different. I think the instructions have us changing the color of the font, which we're on the font tab here, and we're going to change it to red. Is that red? About red. Apply that. All right. So I may have to do that again for you, but right now mine is still a positive number, right? But if I have, let's just say my investments don't pan out 1 month. Why didn't that work? What did I do wrong? Hold on. Hold, please.
You wanna do red, you said?
Red, yeah. Oh, it didn't actually make it go down below 0. I'm sorry. I got to go another. All right, so now you see now that it's below 0, it's not only shows it negative with parentheses, it actually shows in red. Now, I'm glad someone ran into that because if you have a negative number on a spreadsheet, it's going to put it in parentheses for you. So if you look up at the, that's a calculation up there, but it's a negative number. So
If
if
I
you,
was to change my wages right now, would it change my whole spreadsheet?
it would, yeah. And that's why you do it with a spreadsheet, because you can do stuff like that. Because you could do this month to month and things are going to change. Especially if you're an hourly worker or you're working for tips, that's not going to be a constant number, right? That number is going to fluctuate, right? The only time that's going to remain static is if you get paid the same salary every month. And, that's got its own problems, right? Because it's not going to change. Like if you wanted to, like right now with your situation, Summer, I'm thinking, because right now your spreadsheet shows you at a negative, you could plan to put in another 10 hours this month and just cover it, right? Because you work in the food industry and there's plenty of hours to be had. But if you were like a manager at a place and you're just getting paid a salary with no incentive, you would just have to cut some expenses because you can't work more and make more money, right? So, or you have to take a second job. And if you're a manager of a restaurant, do you have time for a second job? No. So that's.
Why I manage and I still bartend and serve. So
Oh, okay. So they pay you a couple different
I
ways.
get paid cash for management.
Yeah. And then you got your.
Eventually one day we'll figure it out. But,
Yeah. Well, as long as it's working out for you, that's all that matters.
yeah, 'cause in order for me to be management, I'd have to cover those expenses I made on the floor because I make really good money.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And so
They really have to jack up your salary to incentivize you. Yeah.
In order to bring me off that floor.
Yeah. So this is kind of it. We could pretty this up a little bit. A couple of things we didn't. like I'm gonna just say, leftover right here, right? I'm gonna put a little heading on that. Right here next to, these two, I'm gonna say totals. Maybe put that right up next to it like that. Give it a bold, maybe. We can do some spreadsheet things. These are totals, these here. So we could do a like a term, like a bottom double border on that one and on this one, and even this one. And a lot of people like their spreadsheet to have grid lines and things. So you do what works for you. You can take this whole spreadsheet right here, like this, and put a thick border around the outside. Just something to make it kind of stand out. There you go. All right, so what do the instructions tell us for this action?
2 sources of income will be total, at least 8 expenses for the month.
We got at least 8. Let's see, must upload the file, blah, blah, blah. Did it tell you how to name the file? I don't think it really did. So if you think you've got all of those things done, you can save it and submit it. I'm going to see how that works here. I'm going to save it as, it's probably going to suggest a name for me. Let's see. Go to the desktop. I'm going to name it Night Monthly Budget. I can't think of a better name. Excel Meta Major, if you wanted to name it that, that's fine. All right, so I've got it saved now. So I'm going to go back to the thing and I'm going to click Add Content. And I'm going to upload the file. I'm going to select the file. I saved it to desktop as Night Monthly Budget. You don't have enough items. What? Your content. Click star when you're ready to make a submission. Okay, we're going to click the star. And then we're going to submit it. Are you sure you want to submit this assignment? Yes. I am sure. Bam, look at that. Greg Knight just finished his Excel Meta Major project and he feels good about it. Now when it comes to the end of the section, you're going to be like, wow, I've already got that done. I'm awesome. All right, I'm going to stop this recording for those who are watching this at home. Thank you for your